welcome back to Journey to Infinity War, Part 3. Ironically, we are going to be talking about a Part 2 in Part 3, but this is Iron Man 2, everyone's favorite Iron Man entry, I do believe. That is an incorrect statement. Most people, like Tyler, and many others, don't even remember what happens in this movie, and I've seen it more than a handful of times, and I just realized I struggled to really recap what happened in the movie as well.
It's funny because I've obviously seen it more than once. It's strange. I think the strangest thing is that I haven't seen Incredible Hulk, and I've always meant to. But Iron Man 2, I used to own it, so I've seen it a couple of times. I think the only thing I remember from it is Whiplash is in it.
Yeah, that's what you're left with.
I think that's all that's left in my brain. Does he start getting into like multiple suits at that point? He's got
two suits. He has like the one that he's still wearing like prison garb, and he's got it wrapped around his chest. It's very rudimentary, and then at the end he gets the big giant ironmonger type one, and then again you have like a carbon copy kind of the hero going against him, except for he has whips, but it's still a big iron suit.
Okay, but what about Iron Man?
He gets in multiple suits. And actually, the one other thing that you take away from this movie is we get to see one of the first creative uses of how he puts the suit on. Instead of going down into his basement and having the suit come on him, he pulls out a suitcase, puts it on the ground, pulls it up to his chest, and the suit wraps around him from the suitcase.
Okay, so
that was badass.
Right. We also now have Don Cheadle.
Yes,
Rhodey.
We didn't mention Terrence Howard in the first Iron Man, even though he was one of the highlights, and we were looking forward to seeing him continue on, and we got Don Cheadle instead.
Which is kind of weird, but obviously there were, it was creative differences, was it not? Or
that's the short end.
I've
financial creative differences.
Right. That's the word. But so again, another hiccup in the Marvel Cinematic Universe is
just not a very strong entry.
Somebody's been recast already at this point, the third film in. So, which he's obviously Don Cheadle has been a good chunk of the MCU so far.
I've now gotten used to him. This deep into the franchise, I've gotten used to him, but it took me a few movies like Iron Man 2, Iron Man 3. I was like, get him out of here!
Who is this guy? Get him out! You wouldn't think of Don Cheadle for like some sort of role like that. It's very weird, because I'm used to seeing him in movies like Reign Over Me.
Or nope, not gonna come to me. But yeah, other movies.
But Iron Man 2,
Crash. Thank you. Sorry.
Here's the thing is from what I remember of Iron Man 2, I just remember liking it for the most part, not having a whole lot of problems with it. But I guess that's one of those ones. There must be some Berenstain Bears thing like with this. You know what I mean?
Sure.
You know what the Berenstain Bears thing is?
No. Some
people claim it was Berenstein Bears, but then they find out it's Berenstain Bears instead of like EIN. It's AIN.
Oh.
And it always has been, and it never was Berenstein Bears, and so they think that they live in an alternate universe where obviously it's not that deep, but there's some shit to it when like nobody can remember the film, right?
Yeah.
There's something to that.
Some conspiracy
there's some hoodoo voodoo going on. What more do you have to say about Iron Man 2? We got Jon Favreau again.
Sam Rockwell is in as Justin Hammer, he is the poor man's Tony Stark, and he's trying to replicate and militarize everything that Tony Stark has created, which Tony's obviously very against, mocks Justin Hammer. And Justin Hammer has to go to extreme lengths. He has to get Whiplash, Iron Vanko out of prison to then do this work for him. And it just turns into a hot mess. And then we have the subplot of the shrapnel in Iron Man's chest is starting to poison him. So he has to create a completely new element to run his suit off of. We get some cool Easter eggs. One of the reasons, or with Sam Jackson and Agent Coulson, and one of the reasons that the movie doesn't really work is this was the first time, other than the post-credit scenes that we had previously, that they're really trying to say, hey, this movie is going to be part of a larger universe. They introduced Black Widow, they have Nick Fury, and they just keep hammering in, like, other things are going to happen. Oh, look, here's half of Captain America's shield. Tony's going to use it to hold up this laser that he's trying to use. And it's just like they kept doing things like that instead of just trying to make a good standalone movie. So that is one of the reasons I feel like it failed. Again, with Tony Stark and Pepper Potts, the relationship continued. I think worked really well. One of the few things that actually did work in the movie. But anyway, like Tyler said, like we both said, the movie it's very forgettable, and you would be forgiven if you skipped it in your Marvel marathon leading up to Infinity War.
If I was doing a marathon, I wouldn't skip anything, but I get what you're saying.
I'm saying you'd be forgiven. I'm not going to say you should skip it, because there is things that happen, and you get to learn a lot more about Howard Stark, Tony's father. But that little thing that you heard there is the end of our Iron Man 2 review, so please stick around for our continuation into part 4, which would be Thor. So we shall call it Part Thor.
Part Thor. Oh, interesting.
Journey to Infinity Thor.
You don't want to miss this.
Yes.
All right.